5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hello, everybody. See that? It says the Ramble. It says Alex, and below it you see the most infected city in the entire world. And my name is Alex Bennett, and I will be here until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. So mark that down. Who knows why? I don't know. Got a good show for you. We'll have a citizen panel in a little bit, but for, I guess, the beginning of the show, as we've been doing each and every night, we like to go over and let me see here. Let me get this ready to go. Take a look at the map. There we go. There's the world map, ladies and gentlemen. See all those places in red? Those are places coronized. Gee, I just thought up a new term. Total confirmed in the world, 3,193,827 cases of COVID. Now, by the way, let's not consider that to be an accurate number, because it could be far more than that. There are a lot of numbers we don't count. There are people who get it, who die at home, and then we just say they died of pneumonia or something like that. These are confirmed cases, okay? Confirmed cases. Yes, they got bar mitzvahed and later on, and then they got confirmed. I don't know. Anyway, look at that. See, the United States, it's a mess. Although there is a, kind of lightening right in this area, and those are the people who are saying, we don't want to stay inside anymore because, well, but you're helping to make us sick, okay? So just stop it. Stop with your selfishness, and we'll figure this out later on. Okay, now where are we? Okay, United States. Let's go to our important number, because we're so obsessed with ourselves. We're now up to 1,038,451 cases in the United States, putting us well ahead of any other country in the world, and that should make Donald Trump proud, because he wants to know that we're number one, even when it comes to disease, okay? The number of total deaths, ladies and gentlemen, there's the number right up there. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, okay? 60,897 deaths so far. Deaths in New York City, 18,076. Now that is going down. It was down about 8 people today from what it was the day before. Which isn't that good, but we are on a downward trend, and it looks like it is getting better. Okay, Spain, of course. Let's take a look at Spain. Oh, come on, I hate this. I have trouble with this mouse occasionally. Spain, okay, 236,899, 24,275 deaths. Okay, per capita, I think that's larger, but I'm not sure. Somebody will have to do the math for me. Italy, 27,682 out of 2,003. So that's roughly, that could be a little over 10%. In the United States, what is it? Is it 10% or what is it? What do we have here? No, we're well under 10%. We're somewhere around 6% of our population. Okay, all right, okay. Let me get out of that, okay, because I know it's really depressing. By the way, New Jersey, a lot of deaths over there, and we look at all the different states. The bottom of the list of the states is Louisiana. They only had 20 deaths. Here are a lot of states with 20, 21, so on, But then you go up to us, man, and we're just kicking ass here in New York, So anyway, whatever. So let me just say that we'll talk about it later, but it looks like they may have come up with. I don't know if the word we're looking for here is a cure. but we've found something. The reservoir, whatever it's called, which they found has, in tests that they've been doing, tended to mitigate the disease. So maybe if I catch it now, they can save my life. Okay. But we'll talk about that later on in the show. Meanwhile, what I did yesterday is I did something which was very dangerous. I left the apartment. Yeah. And I left the apartment with girlfriend. It's another one of our little trips around the neighborhood. All we were doing is I was going to the pharmacy. That was my big adventure of going to the pharmacy. And I figured while we were at it, we would show you around this apartment so you could see why we're not particularly getting cabin fever, and so you can get an idea of what it's all about. So let me take you back to yesterday and our wonderful adventure. This is the most exciting things we've gotten in 6 weeks. Welcome now to the new normal.
Hi.
That is Marjorie. She is my... Are we married?
We're married.
See, we don't remember these things because we're old.
Long time.
We're old. Anyway, this is the new normal. First, show the refrigerator.
Well, the refrigerator's emptying out because we got food last week.
Yeah.
But look at the freezer.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh.
Oh my God, we got lots of food in the freezer. All the way down there.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
See? Okay. So we're taken care of. I mean, if it suddenly becomes an absolute holocaust,
we're good.
We're good.
We're good.
Okay. And now what we're going to do is I have to go down to the pharmacy to pick up my medicine because I'm an old person and I take, you know what I used to do? I used to take 1 pill and now I'm up to like about 8.
We all are. That's life.
And I don't have that much wrong with me. Oh, by the way, there's my fuck you, Alex. Turn that light on. This is, Penn and Teller gave me this years ago, and somehow we've managed to...
Is that great?
Managed to hold on to it. Yeah. So anyway, and this is where we have been spending... I have not been out of this apartment for almost 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, this is 24/7 with Alex.
And people say, how...
24/7 with Alex.
How do you survive it? Well, first of all, for instance, off the kitchen here...
We've been stocking up.
We have a pantry. Oh, by the way, here's more stuff. Look what we have. Paper towels. Oh, my God.
Pellegrino.
Pellegrino. 2 boxes of Pellegrino.
But we mustn't forget this. We have... I'm down to 8 bottles of my Pinot Grigio.
Oh, okay.
It may be time for me to order.
And here, look, I'm stocked up on my Diet Coke and my Snapple. That'll take care of me for a while.
Our laundry products.
Yeah,
here's all our cleaning products.
Yeah, but the main thing is the stuff we bought that we use for survival, and it's pretty good. And then, so you know why we're not feeling cabin fever. This is our foyer, or as we call it, our decontamination room.
Exactly.
Because when we get boxes, we keep them in here for like 2 days. Spray them and keep them in here for 2 days. And then we have our lovely living room. Here, show them our living room. See? And look at how high the ceilings are, right? Now, we're fighting to stay here, by the way.
This is nose tissue, not toilet paper.
Oh, okay. We have toilet paper.
Yes, but
Well, we'll show you that in a minute.
This is the single ply.
That's the single ply.
Single ply, double ply, and triple ply.
Right.
Triple ply feels like a diaper.
Yeah,
I mean, it's too thick.
It is. And but your finger doesn't go through it, and that's good.
That's why I blow my nose with the single ply.
I see. So anyway, this is our living room, which is really nice. Okay, then we got a dining room, all right, which we only use for eating. We should use it for other stuff, but we don't.
No.
You know.
It's an eating room.
And by the way, you notice we have a TV set here.
Oh, God.
Okay, and then you go here, and we have another TV set. And then you go into the kitchen, and we have another TV set, okay? So consequently, we have a lot of TV sets in this apartment house. Wait a minute. Let's go down. Oh, this is our hall, by the way.
You're not showing them any of the artwork, Alex.
I did.
Wait,
Yeah, there's Marjorie did that, and Marjorie did that.
Green.
Yeah, it's green.
And these I did.
She did. Did you do?
Both of them.
Both of these are yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You see his name Miller on that?
Yeah, that's her artwork. Nice work.
Thank you.
Nice work. You're very good at it. Now show them the bedroom where there's no activity since I had my prostate operation. Let me see here. Here's a hallway, and then we have the bedroom, okay, and another TV set, okay. So this is where we lie most of the day.
Show them our view.
Oh, and then of course we've got to show you the view.
Let me open the window so you don't get.
No.
I got all the fingerprints and
okay.
head prints.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. There's our view. Isn't that a nice view? And look down. Well, you can't see it really from here, but there are not a lot of people on the street.
At night when all the colors are on, it looks pretty.
Okay. And then you go down the hallway, and we have a guest room with, guess what? Another TV set.
And a Miller.
Oh, another Miller painting.
And a Miller.
Okay. Is that a Miller?
That's a Miller, and that's a Miller, and that's part of the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, by the way, is a Amish quilt that I was given by somebody, which is very nice. And, of course, another TV set and another kind of studio, computers, all of that. Let me see here. And finally, we go in and we have
The office.
the office. This is where I do the show from right here. And then Marjorie is over here.
I get that little 2 square inches over there in the corner. That's my little spot.
Wait a minute, well, yeah, I guess so.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4.
And another TV set, by the way. Another TV set. The only place we don't have a TV set is in the bathroom.
Which we could use.
Really? See, here's our bathroom. Actually, the bathroom is quite small and undramatic compared to the rest of the apartment.
Exactly.
But again, look at the high ceilings.
That's true.
See, I mean, so we don't have cabin fever here.
We just have cabin Alex and Marjorie.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go
take a walk.
We're going to take a walk, actually down to the pharmacy.
And the supermarket. I'll go in, you'll stay outside. And if you're a good boy, we'll go by the bakery.
Well, I don't know if I want to walk up to the bakery.
Well, then we don't get croissants.
Well, I have a croissant every day. And my waistline is starting to expand. Yeah. So let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So we're outside.
Taking a walk.
Taking a walk.
This is my first time out since last Tuesday.
This is my first time out in 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
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 And we're going. We're going to go to the pharmacy.
Yeah, and then go to the bakery.
You go to the bakery, but that's all the way up the other way.
Yeah, it's 1 extra block.
1 extra block. Well, the streets are kind of quiet.
Yeah.
There's nobody down this street. This street is like...
There's a line to the grocery store. So I'm not going to the grocery store. Or wait, yeah, that's a line.
Is that a line?
Yep.
Yeah, but it may be going fast. It's...
Well, they let like 10 in at a time.
Yeah. What's happening at our ATM, I wonder?
Your ATM.
My ATM. Your ATM's all the way up the other way.
Yeah, across the street from the bakery.
Let me see here. Nah. Pretty normal. And most people have masks on.
It's required now.
Yeah, well, that guy doesn't have one.
But it is
Where do they get masks, though?
You can get them for free. Just go to a walk-in. Put a scarf around your face.
That probably works just as well. But look how empty the streets are, really. This is usually a very busy street with traffic.
Maybe I will go in now. I'll meet you here.
Okay, I'll go to the pharmacy.
And pick up mine. Is there anything you want in there besides avocados?
Avocados, my bread, eggs.
Eggs?
Eggs. I put them on the list. Anyway, she's going into the grocery store. I haven't been in there. This is the new shopping. Okay, and I'm going up to the pharmacy now. Thought I'd let you see how I look all dolled up. I've got my mask, I've got my gloves, and I'm going up to the pharmacy to get my pharmacy stuff, my pills, my medicine. Because there were some that I, ordered today.
Those are here.
Okay, so they're about, yeah, okay.
Total comes to $141.97.
Okay. Boy, that's sure cheaper than I used to pay. That's what I used to pay. It's less than I used to pay for a month's worth. That's less than I used to pay for a month's worth in the old days when I go to CVS or someplace like that. Okay, get it through there. Okay. Hey, keep safe and have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. And back to get Marjorie. What happened?
25 people have come out. I counted them. He hasn't let us in yet.
Oh, really?
So we might as well go in. I mean, it should be any second now. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll wait for you. Yeah. It was really easy up at the...
Well, there's no one there.
Yeah.
So there.
Yep. Now this is a testing center here?
It's a walk-in
Yeah.
health center.
Look, they got the tents and everything.
Yeah.
And people are waiting to be tested for COVID-19, except us. Look at this. That line across the street is for a grocery store. Marjorie's going in here to get croissants. There she goes. I will stay out here. Look what she scored. Oops, my finger's getting in the way. Look at what she scored. Haha. Croissants.
Croissant. That's what you need.
How lovely. We're
Do
not.
you see the lights going on the corner?
Yeah, no, the line's going around the corner for Best Yet market. I was wondering what was wrong with your market, that they weren't letting you in.
No.
But apparently there was a long line.
To check out, I counted 27 people coming out.
Wow. Well, we're on our way going back home. We've come to the end of our journey. I'm exhausted. I don't know where the light is on. Yeah. And here we are, home, back again, and then we'll go through the big decontamination, including a shower. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, let me see here. That's our trip. Here we go with the ritual. And that's our whole day out. I am now out of breath and exhausted, but exercised.
This is stage 1.
Yeah. And then we go to stage 2. And I'm going to sign off now so I can do the whole ritual myself. Anyway, that's our little trip. And you notice how out of breath I was? And it turned, I think the reason I was out of breath is I haven't had any exercise in how many weeks now? 6 weeks? So I was huffing and puffing. I was amazed. I don't feel short of breath most of the rest of the day, but let me see here. Where's the Skype? No exercise for several weeks, but now I'm going to have exercise because girlfriend bought an exercise machine, which we'll show you maybe tomorrow night or the day afterwards. She can give you a kind of an idea of what it's about. All right. Anyway, Jack forgot to turn off the Skype last night. Oh, bad boy. Anyway, we're ready for you to call. And let me see here. Let me turn this down so that when they do call, it won't blast you out. Here we go. Here comes Charlene. Let me see here. Charlene is always whenever she is going to call, she's always the first one. Let's see here. Brian Neary is calling. And let me see here. Let me try and get the people, get people in here. Let's see here. Brian Neary, okay. And then let's see here. We got to go with Charlene Martinez, who I think is that one, because she doesn't put her name in there, so it makes it difficult for me. Here comes Charlie Wallace. We're going to, so far, you guys are doing it at a speed that I can deal with. Let me see. Let me wait until I see Charlie Wallace picture. Then I can give him a slot here. There we go. Boom, boom. And Charles Wallace. Okay, Charlie, there you go. And then Phil Meyer is going to be in the, let me put these people over here. Phil Meyer is going to be in the number 4 slot. Let me see here. Charlie was in the 4th slot last night, but tonight he beat Phil to the punch. Boy, there we go. Okay, let me see here. Let me do a little transition here. There we go. We got Brian Neary, we got Charlie Martinez, we got Charlie Wallace, and we got Phil Meyer. Hello, gang. How are you this evening?
Hey.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that's good for a start. At least everybody didn't gang bang up on me all at once. Either that or I'm just getting better at this. What are you wearing? One of these stylish ones there, Charlene?
No, this is, I'm going crazy. I've had bandanas, and I sent away for all these, the ones that you tie, and they go around your ears, but I haven't gotten any of them. Like,
Is that
they're so popular, I guess. So
Charlene?
I'm waiting for them at FedEx and the UPS, and they aren't delivering.
Charlene, is that the new fashion for robbing liquor stores in New Jersey?
Right, I know. Everyone looks like they're going to rob something.
Yeah.
And then I asked these guys, they said there were these fishing things, but I was in Home Depot, and it's like a cooling thing for your neck, and I grabbed it on the way out, and it's working out good. It's better that you don't have to tie it. You just slip it over your head.
Yeah.
And then you pull it up like this.
Oh, okay.
And it's good enough that I'm passing the code, and, I'm covering everything. So I think this is going to work for a while now.
You got to figure out which one is Jeff here. Huh?
And look, you want to see what else I got? Look.
What?
Big jumbo.
Well, if I showed you our closet here, it's full of TP. Yeah.
Order.
Yeah. I guess kids aren't going to be toilet papering people's homes at Halloween this year because it's too
Right.
costly.
Oh, forget it. We're having Halloween now with all the masks and everything, right?
Yeah,
Forget
with the
about
mask.
Halloween.
It's funny when I was going around doing that video yesterday. Nobody said "Don't shoot me"
Yeah.
because they didn't
Yeah.
care. No, you couldn't recognize anybody, right? And by the way, the thing that you didn't see because I was screwing up with my camera and everything is that Marjorie never did get into the grocery store because they just kept them waiting out there. I went all the way up to the pharmacy and I came all the way back, and she was still waiting in line. And so we just said to hell with it, and we just went up and got croissants and came home. So.
Alex, the Steadicam on that camera when I was watching what you're doing was great.
Well, that's the iPhone. That's the
I
latest
know.
iPhone.
It's got like a built-in Steadicam on the new ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been around for.
Really?
Yeah. The newest ones. I think they actually have had them for a while now, even the year before I bought mine. Yeah, but it's really just perfect.
I got this one right after you got yours, Alex.
Yeah. Oh, that's a GoPro.
Yeah, right when you got yours, I got this one.
Yeah, the GoPro also has a Steadicam in it as well, but my iPhone, this thing, is what I shot that with. And the reason I shoot it with this is it's just easier for me to get the stuff off of the
rather than use
camera.
a card.
Yeah. Also, I think the battery will last longer here than the GoPro will. But I may shoot the next one with a GoPro. It's just I like the sound better on this. It's just all the way around. It's just better for doing those quick little jaunts outside. And so it looks like this Remdesivir, is it?
Remdesivir, right?
Remdesivir. I don't know how to pronounce it. How do you pronounce it? Brian, how do you pronounce it?
Right.
Do you know?
I don't know.
Remdesivir.
It's really Vicks cough drops.
Yeah. Actually, another one they're trying is what's the stuff for your gut? Over the counter.
An antacid?
Yeah, an antacid.
Prilosec or
Pepsid.
Yeah. There's
I thought
something
it was
it's not if you take Pepsid it's going to cure you, but it's a component that's in Pepsid that they're testing. But
they said if you've been taking it, you have it's good that you've been taking it, it's better or something, right?
I don't know.
It's only, but remember, it's only if you have it, and it'll cut down the days. So they say from 15, they're tested 15 days down to 11 days. So 4
and they didn't
days
want to announce it because they thought everyone was going to start going and buying it, and it would be not on the shelves or something when they announced it or something.
Alex, how many bottles do you have in that closet?
That's 27. 27. No, actually.
I forgot to check when I went out.
Okay, Charlene. Okay. But this Remdesivir or whatever it's called, I don't know. Supposedly it's working. That's what they're saying. And it is taking a bad case. They say when people have it bad, it's taken it and brought it down. So they're thinking that at least it's not a cure. It's just a what do you call it? It's not a cure. It's
knockdown.
Yeah.
They say it'll shave 4 days off, and they say it doesn't sound like much, but it's really big when you have people on ventilators and you have people on different situations. The 4 days does help a lot.
So really, this could get them off the ventilators, right?
At least sooner.
Yeah. So, if we can get something that if you get it, they say here we're going to give you this, and they give it to you, and it then turns the whole thing around. You go home, you sneeze a little bit, and that's it. We're back in business again. But it's not going to be until we get that kind of thing available to us that we're going to be able to, get back to normal. Otherwise, we're still up Craps Creek, as it were. Let me see here. I'm looking for Tony. Hold on, Tony, pony, banana, pony. Webhead. There he is. There we go. All right. There's Tony, and there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So
The other good thing about that is at least they're on a path to find something. I mean, they say even if this just shaves down a few days, at least they sort of understand it a little bit better, and they can start really diving into that.
But you know what you don't need to do? You don't need to wear the surgical masks anymore. Because the head of our Corona task force doesn't.
No.
And so we don't need to. You know. So.
He looks stupid too every time you see him. He looks like he's like totally like blank.
Oh, you mean I call it
like the dumb guy from the Smokey and the Bear. Remember Jackie Gleason, the dumb son?
Yeah, well, Pence looks like is Trump's shadow. I call him. He's just always behind him. You know.
Puppet.
Puppet. Yeah. Trump should put his fist up his ass. He might like it actually. Not realize it. Yes, Charlene.
You know, I was out today, in the cleaning aisle and stuff, and I heard somebody ask the guy in the Home Depot, where was the Lysol cleaner? And I had to hold myself back because I thought they wouldn't appreciate it if I said, wow, I guess a lot of people must have drank it or something. And I had to hold myself back because I think I would have gotten in trouble.
Did he ask for the injectable?
Right.
Did you have any of the injectable Lysol available? Yeah.
There was not on the shelf.
Yeah, but it's I mean, we're this is getting what's getting me a little crazy are these people who are suddenly deciding that they've really got to they want to get out, and this is all horrible, and this is against their civil rights, and all of that, and I have to say. I'm 80 years old, and you're violating my civil rights if you don't shelter in place.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff I'm seeing on Facebook are like, we have, like down near Kevin, right? So they have all the workers down there, in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
They say, well, why aren't they getting sick? And, why aren't these groups? Why aren't people at Walmart or Home Depot getting sick? And I say, well, if your side really feels that way, why isn't Trump telling everybody to get back to work? He's not.
Well, he's telling. You know what he's doing? He's telling the meat people to get back to work.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely stupid, because those are the people who have jobs which are very close to each other. It's very difficult to create a space in. So I find that kind of not a good idea to go ahead and tell him. He actually, what he did is, he hasn't been using this. What's it called? The defense something, where
the power, that defense power. Yeah.
Yeah,
he
that
did
defense
it on the meat plants, but he wouldn't do it in the PPE.
Right.
He didn't need to.
Yeah. What do you mean he didn't need to? Why didn't he need to, Phil?
They produced it on their own. They didn't need to be threatened to do it.
Yeah, but he's using it to force these people to go back into these meat packing lines, which is pure suicide.
You have a personal interest in that. Since you're on Atkins, if the supply dries up.
Yeah.
So does the president. He wants his Kentucky Fried Chicken and his hamburgers.
He likes McDonald's.
And you're going to be eating croissants, and you're going to be 350 pounds before you.
Well, I don't care. I would rather see these people live than die. And cutting up meat. I mean, this has got to be a great day for vegans. They're so happy that these people aren't able to produce meat. The only thing is, and the only sad thing about it is that because they can't produce this pork, the pigs that are out there are being slaughtered and just buried. They're being decimated because they can't keep the amount of people, amount of pigs that they have. So
it's clogging up the supply chain.
Same thing with chickens, and the same thing with beef. So I mean, this is and I went online today because I'm getting a delivery from Costco on Friday, so I have up until Thursday or until this person starts shopping to add to the list and so on. So I went online to Costco. To begin with, Costco jacks up the price when you're doing it by sending somebody in to get it. Okay, They're
How can they do
really
that?
taking advantage of the situation. Anyway,
I don't see how they
because a
figure that-
block of cheese that I usually buy for $12 is now $15 online. Okay, but anyway, the point I'm making is that I went to look to see if what kind of meat they might have. You know, maybe have some meat. Well, to begin with, what there was prohibitively expensive. I mean, it was the prices that you normally paid for the prime. You were paying for the choice. Okay, and there wasn't very much meat. They said out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. Same thing with chicken. Out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. Yes, Kevin.
I got news for you.
I actually,
Faye went to Safeway today, and she said there were no vegetables. There was no produce. That the shelves were pretty much empty, and so probably Kevin's going to say the same thing. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I actually decided on Tuesday that I was going to go to the old guys' Costco day. Today, and I got up early this morning and I went to old guys' Costco hours at 8 o'clock this morning down here in Gilroy, and I got in line, and the line was pretty damn long, and I got behind this Mexican guy, and he said, "Oh, I've been coming here every 2 weeks," and I said, "Well, I haven't been here for almost 2 months, so I don't know the story now," and here, and he goes, "Oh yeah, there's like 72 people in line here. It's going to take us 10 minutes to get in," and blah blah blah. He gave me the whole rundown. I said, "Oh, well, that's not too bad, So they opened up the door. I'll tell you, it was the best Costco experience I ever had. I got in line. We got up there. We got about halfway through the line. They stopped.
Mm-hmm.
We waited about another 2 minutes. I got up there. I was the last one in. They cut it off after I went in. There was, there was people in the store, but it wasn't crowded. There weren't people bumping into me. I went in. There was a limit on the chicken. I got my 3 bags of chicken.
All right.
I went over. I got my toilet paper. I got my paper towels. Then I walked through the store. They had almost everything I wanted, except, the Lysol and the wipes and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got everything I wanted. I walked out of there with a $400 bill, but I got everything I needed for the next, month and a half, 2 months. And I went, crap, I don't have to come back here for another 2 months. And when you got up to the line, they wouldn't, you get up to the line, you stay 6 feet away from the belt, and then they unload your cart. They wouldn't let you near it until the next customer got out of the way, which I love because I hate the pressure of getting the thing on the belt and the people behind you pushing their shit on. And they unloaded the cart. They put the cart, along there. You don't touch it. You show them the card, and then they got plastic all along the place between you and the cashier guy and the lady there. And then they got a little slot right by where you usually pay for the punch in your card.
Yeah.
You don't even use that. They put the card reader at the end of the aisle. And then as soon as I go down there to put my card in, they'll back off like 6 feet.
Wow.
And then I use my card. And then they say, "Okay, you done?" I say, "Yep." And they move back over and start finishing the card.
Did you have to put the stuff in your bags, however?
No, they put it all in there.
Oh, really?
And then they hand the receipt through the little slot in the plastic. And I thank you. Have a nice day. And then I walk out. And as you walk out where they do the check your receipt thing, the guy's standing in a booth. And there's a big piece of plastic there, and you hold your receipt up to the plastic, and he looks at it, and he goes, "Okay, have a good day." And then they count you on the way out. You don't touch or see anybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought it was going to be, a big petri dish, and it was pretty nice, actually.
Costco's pretty organized.
Yeah, it sounds like
they were wiping shit down all over the place.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like a hospital.
Oh, maybe I should go then. I've been paying somebody to go do it.
It wasn't bad at all. Now I'm not in a big city area. It was in Gilroy. It wasn't a big city. And when I left, I thought, oh shit, I'm going to see all kinds of people because by the time I left, it was after old guys' hour, and there was probably, I'd say 15 people in line waiting to get in.
Yeah.
That was like at 9:30.
Oh, that's not terrible.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Was everybody covered?
As 5 people would walk out, 5 people would walk in.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Jeff wanted
good
it.
service.
Of course, here's how you could throw a real wrench into that whole system. I want to buy a TV set.
They probably still do it.
I'd
It's
like
not a
to
big
see how
deal.
they can do that. You know.
Jeff had a question.
Yes,
Oh, I was
Jeff.
looking at an Apple Watch.
Yes.
You know what they told you to do?
What?
You take a picture of the Apple Watch you want, and you take it to the counter, and they take care of it that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What were you going to say, Jeff?
Yeah, Kevin, were you covered on your face?
Yeah, I had a cover on my face and gloves.
Oh, by the way, all Costco's now are requiring that anyone
Yeah.
who goes into a Costco has to wear a mask.
I saw one guy walking around without a mask in there, but they had the signs all over saying you had to wear masks.
It's
But
fine.
I don't think it was required today, but as of tomorrow, I think they're all required.
It's funny how
Unless
times
you're
have,
vice
it's funny though how times have changed because in the old days, if you went into Costco wearing a mask, they called the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. Yes, but finish what you were
You're a
saying,
black
Jeff.
guy.
Jeff, finish what you were
I
saying.
said the vice president is allowed to
Yeah.
get in.
Yeah, he's allowed
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yes, yes, Phil.
I
The
went
Mayo
to
Clinic.
hardware today. I had to get some keys made and buy a lock, and so I'm standing in the line.
Yeah.
They got marks on the floor 6 feet apart,
Mhm.
and so I'm standing on the line, and there's this guy. He looks like he's trying to cut in. So I said, "Are you in front of me?" He says, "No," and so I said, "Okay," and he's like within a foot of my shoulder, and so I said to the guy. Said, you're supposed to be 6 feet back. And he grumbles. And so I said, get 6 feet back now. And he moved.
All right.
So I said, I'm not going to get sick because you grumble. Get the fuck back. And I was really tough with this guy because he was about 85. But
Those are the ones you gotta get tough, right?
Well, you could have taken him. Okay. Anyway, but the question is, how do you feel? How do you feel, Phil, about about the fact that some of these people are going, oh, it's my rights, and
I'm fine with it. If they want to go and they want to, social distance, or even if they don't, and they want to fuck themselves up, let them do it.
Yeah, but they're going to fuck us up in the process.
Yeah, they're gonna make us people sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's what.
If you do what you got to do, I say, I don't have to go to their restaurant. I don't have to go to their candy store. I don't have to go to the places they are. I don't have to go to their gas station. But
they are, because they're not social distancing, because they feel their rights are being impinged upon. You could be walking down the street and they could be within 2 inches of you.
Why do you think that they wouldn't social distance just because they don't want their civil rights being taken from them?
Because they don't believe in social distancing. They don't believe in staying home. They don't believe in sheltering in place.
Well, that's true, but it's an assumption that they're not following protocol.
Those protesters weren't.
Those protesters weren't, no.
I've seen some that were and some
no,
that
they
weren't.
weren't.
They were on top of each other.
They were. I saw one run up to a reporter and shout in his ear. Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I listen. I don't care if you want to kill yourself. That's okay. If you want to take a risk with your life, fine, but don't take a risk with mine.
The protests are one thing, but if somebody opens up a non-essential business or something like that, the hair cutting place, and they don't, and of course, most of these people will practice good protocol. The reason being is that they want their customers to live. But on the other hand, it's up to me whether I decide to go get a haircut or not, or get a pedicure or a manicure. I'm not forced to do that. Yeah. And that's someone's decision. Let them, if they make that decision to do it, let them do it.
Well, but I mean, all I'm saying is that what we're talking about here is that in countries, for instance, where they have relaxed these stay-in-place things, all of a sudden the rate is going back up.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that the herd virus, not herd mentality.
herd immunity you're talking about. And herd
immunity.
immunity only implies to being vaccinated.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If in fact
Can
you get-
Brian, do you have any word about what herd immunity is?
No, this was what you were talking about last night. I listened to the show yesterday. I didn't hear, but yeah, the Sweden has about 2,000, and I don't know what the per capita is, but Sweden has 2,000 deaths, and Finland 206, Norway 206.
Yeah.
So even though
Big
they
difference.
relaxed their stuff, they had a lot of deaths. So and a lot of them were nursing homes also. So that's one of the big things when this happens. Really got to focus on that instead.
Yeah. But herd immunity isn't like if people don't get, people get infected and then they infect other people and whatever, and then eventually everybody becomes immune because it's a herd immunity. That's not what it is. It applies to when you give, what do you call it, vaccines to the whole population. That's herd immunity.
Well, they're saying that if they all get it, then they may not get it again. But who knows if that's a fact?
We don't know that's a fact. We don't know. We know so little about this disease.
I'm sorry, but can you hear my fan?
No.
No.
But I can't imagine you have a fan.
Yeah.
So,
Even talking.
I mean, if you do, I'd like to meet him.
And now the sound of one hand clapping.
Can you imagine he has groupies, Alex? That would be funny.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Well, someone really hate him on your page. I laugh when they really talk about him.
Yeah.
He gets under their skin.
What's Phil's? Who's Phil's groupie? Oh, she's Charlene. No, thank you, Charlene. Let me do a joke at your expense. Yes, Jeff.
Yep, does.
So I kind of got some information from my daughter the other day, which you guys might be interested in. She works for Massachusetts Medical School. And they finally decided, because they got rid of all the doctors.
Yeah.
They said anybody who could have been a doctor this year, you're now a doctor.
You're now a doctor. Yeah, they're doing
You're
that.
now a doctor. Get to work.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So they did that right away. Next thing is they decided to put 50 people, or I think it's 500 people, who are actually out of work, because they had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Just nothing to do. So a lot of people are losing jobs who kind of had them for a while.
Yeah.
There was a lot of ones who didn't have jobs right away.
So they're not going and doing COVID stuff. They're just being released to work, and there's no work.
There's no work. There's nothing to do. The medical school is basically, it doesn't exist right now, today, in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yep.
Is Harvard the one that you're associated with, or Yale, the one that you go to for?
Yeah, I go to Yale.
Yale. Okay, it was Harvard that took the money and doesn't want to give it back, right? The PPP money.
I don't know about that, but I do know that Yale is having pretty good success on getting patients who come in and rather than dying, they actually go home.
Wow.
By the way, I
don't know what they're doing.
So
but
their cure rate is high.
I have a PBS NewsHour poll that was taken, and you guys probably may not be able to see it on your screen. Well, if you're looking at YouTube, it'll come up in a minute or so. But here it is for our audience. The question was, do you think it's a good or bad idea to do each of the following without further testing for the coronavirus? Have students return to school. 14% said it was a good idea. They're probably so crazed by their kids being home and being stuck with them for 6 weeks. The bad idea, 85%, unsure, 1%. Have people return to work. 32% said it was a good idea. 65% said a bad idea. And 3% said unsure. Allow large groups of people to attend sporting events. 8% thought that was a good idea. 91% felt that was a terrible idea. 1% were unsure. And finally, open restaurants for people to eat in them. And 19% said it was a good idea. 80% said a bad idea. You can see here who's going to be doing business and who isn't going to be doing business. And let's see here. And 1%, of course, said they were unsure. Now, the next question in this poll is, who's doing a better job of handling the coronavirus pandemic, President Trump or your governor? National adults, 32% felt it was President Trump, 64% felt it was your governor, and 3% were unsure. Now, in the Northeast, which would be where we are and where Cuomo holds sway, they said 27% for Trump, 72% for the governors. In the Mideast, 29% for Trump, 68% for the governors. In the South, 38% for Trump, 57% your governor. And in the West, 31% felt President Trump was doing a better job, and 68% felt their governor was. So that's what we got, okay?
In Texas is none of the above.
3%.
What?
The 1%, the ones that thought Biden was doing a better job?
No, they didn't. This was not mentioned with Biden. So anyway, that's a little statistic, folks, if you want one.
It's the governors that are actually doing what needs to be done in the states. It's the federal government that has to support them, but it's the governors that make the decision as to what to do or what not to do.
Yeah, but the governors aren't being supported by the government.
That's what's going on in Georgia. You know, the governor wants to open up. Trump said he didn't think it was such a good idea, but the guy opened up anyway. You know, tattoo parlors. I can't imagine.
Is he a Republican or a Democrat? That governor?
He's a Republican.
He's Republican.
Really?
Yeah, he resisted Trump's suggestion, and all it could be is a suggestion because it's up to the governors to decide whether they're going to open up.
Yeah, but this whole thing about Trump going, the governors it's their choice to do this and their choice to do that, and so on and so forth, and that's fine. It absolutely is by states' rights. But on the other hand, he's trying to pass the buck if this thing fails.
Not necessarily. It is.
Phil, he always tries to find somebody to blame for his faults.
He got Dick stepped on about 2 weeks ago when he said, I decide whether they open, they close, they do this or they do that. And he got put in his place, and they said, no, the governors decide.
Well, if that cut off his, if that got his dick stepped up on, his dick was cut off with his remarks about taking disinfectants into your system by injection.
Said that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. How many here heard the president say that?
I've got the transcript.
Well, you've got the transcript. I've got the video. I don't have it ready to roll here.
He said we should try it. We should try it.
Yeah,
we should try it.
It's going to be tough on
What
Gavin. What do we got here? We got 8 people, so that means that 7 of you are going to have a tough time with that shit. If you really think you should try it.
But no, Phil, he definitely. We all heard him say it. You heard
what you wanted to hear.
What do you mean? I heard what I wanted to hear. There was the suggestion that what if we take this and we do that and we do this and we do that? Well, do you think you should look into that? And he looks at this doctor who goes, "I don't want to piss off the president." He goes, "Okay, well, look into it, you asshole."
Hey, that's not what he said. He says, "Why can't they come up with something that works?"
And Phil, none of those people tried to inject themselves or tried to swallow the Lysol either, right?
You did.
We heard about on news. So I'm still here. I didn't have to get my stomach pumped or go to the hospital.
Charlene, it's because you didn't swallow. But that's not.
That's bad, Phil.
Bree is out there. He's writing on our chat board, but he's not calling, and I don't know why he's not calling. You should call, Bree.
He didn't get his hair done.
Look at my hair. Look at my hair. Look at this.
Can I ask a question? Kevin mentioned
look at
that thing.
Tony's.
What's it called? Is it pandemic? That thing about why Corona's not like H1N1 or like Ebola and all that. So I try to go on Netflix to try to watch that today. And I blame my son for jamming up the Wi-Fi. When Netflix is like, if too many people are watching it, does it flash? Because I thought I was losing my mind. I couldn't get onto my Netflix. Is that what happens when that happens? You know, too many people?
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
No matter whether you're getting
just pay the bill.
You mean how
Because
fast?
my son does the gaming and he pulls all the the
well, I mean, the
bandwidth,
question
right?
is how much bandwidth you buy every month, how much you're in for. Like here, I never have that
the other
problem.
movies, yeah, you're going to get nailed down.
I got to get him to move out and get his own bandwidth, and then
either that or just go call your supplier and up your bandwidth.
That one night. I got a girl in Mexico.
Will you listen to me, Charlene? Charlene, will you listen to me for a second?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All I said was call your cable company or whoever your supplier is and tell them you want to buy more bandwidth and add a little more bandwidth to your pipe.
Is that like indica and sativa?
Something like that. Yeah.
Of course, it'll cost more money. But...
Well, I was supposed to get this amazing router that was supposed to be, better.
It doesn't matter how good your router is.
But I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It didn't come, or I was supposed to go pick it up or something. But then COVID hit, so I think that did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
it
send
got
it to you in the mail.
But I think it never showed up. I don't know.
Yeah. But
I'll have to call him again.
Yeah. So I mean that's bandwidth is something you can buy more of, and if you're using too much of it, then just buy some more. You can buy it in increments, so you don't have to pay a hell of a lot more to get a decent amount more. I have an insane amount. I have they call it the gigabyte, although it isn't a gigabyte, but it's about a gig up and a gig down.
Neighbor.
What?
Well, that's what I thought I had. I had a lot, I thought. And, geez, how much do I need for my son with that stuff? God.
Boy, Tony.
And he doesn't contribute.
Okay,
he doesn't call up.
All right.
I got disconnected.
You got disconnected, but it's 2 times you got disconnected.
Yes, maybe my wife likes to
turn it off.
You should pay for more Wi-Fi, damn it.
Yeah. I got Wi-Fi.
What do you have? Do you have Fios?
Yeah, I got Fios.
Oh, so you got at least 200 up, 200 down, I think, just minimum. So
yeah, I have a lot.
Yeah, so that should take care of you. Your mother playing games?
Thank God she's sleeping. God. She was making me feel my head before. Am I warm? You're cold, for Christ's sake. I give her a PM. I hope she's out for the night.
Yeah.
She was up last night all night.
Yeah.
Don't give her a Lysol, Tony.
She doesn't sleep. I don't sleep.
Well, Alex, you weren't a little concerned that de Blasio was out picking up Jews on the street yesterday, and you were out,
I hate those Hasidim. I hate them.
What are they?
Huh?
Oh, Alex.
Come on, don't tell me you liked them when you were in New York. Come on.
Oh, no, they throw rocks at your car.
They're miserable people.
On a Saturday.
They're miserable people. And so this rabbi dies, and they all go out in full force, a couple of hundred of them, all ignoring social distancing. And by the way, I might add that in that Orthodox community, the rate of infection is quite high.
That's right.
Yeah. So, these guys are helping to make me sick. Fuck you.
Well,
Alex, what kind of strange masks do they have on some of them? Like Halloween type masks, like plastic masks or something? I saw some of them.
No, they were just wearing.
Very funny looking masks.
No, they were wearing normal masks.
Their payas.
They were wearing the normal masks.
Yeah.
And what did someone call them? One of the tweets, they called them something. What was the name they used for them? Oh, I wish I knew.
Well, they're the Hasidim.
No, but they called them like
Hasidic,
maybe a derogatory word or something.
Lubavitchers. There's another
I thought
term.
they were the Lubavitchers. They
Yeah.
were the
Yeah.
Lubavitchers.
Yeah.
I lived in Rockland County for a while, Spring Valley, and that's a big Hasidic community.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Didn't the leader of the Lubavitchers die, but then now there's a new guy that took over or something?
Well, I think they had some rabbi just die, and that was a big deal.
Another guy? Because that other guy died, and now this guy died? Oh.
Billy
There's
Bobicher.
always a new guy.
Yeah. One less guy to sell hi-fi to sell big screen TVs at B&H. You know.
Those are the ones that get on the school buses and they go into the jewelry district or whatever, right? Whatever is that, yeah.
They all kill each other. It's like, yeah. Anybody remember when this guy Shlomo Tal years ago disappeared?
I think I remember that, Alex. What
They
year
don't know.
was that?
They don't know what happened to him, but he wanted to screw it. Well, I better not talk about him this way. I might be in trouble.
Right.
I was at Brooklyn College.
Now, this is not to. By the way, let's not make this the same as Jews who are highly religious. Okay, this is a certain sect of Jews. Right?
Yeah, they came out of the 17th century.
Yeah.
But I was at Brooklyn College back in the late 60s, visiting a friend, and I was sitting in his economics class, and the guy said, "You want to join the JDL?" I said, "Sure." He says, "What's your name?" I said, "Lee Phillips." But Meyer Kahane. But the thing that's
Meyer Kahane came to my show once.
Really?
When I was at WMCA. And he was sitting in the lobby, and they said, "This guy wants to be on your show." And I said, "Who is he?" And he said, "Meyer Kahane." I said, "Send him home."
Yeah,
I didn't want him on my show.
He got shot.
Yeah, he did.
The thing is De Blasio. There's a Muslim holiday coming up, and De Blasio is offering thousands of meals that he will deliver to the different mosques that the Muslims are going to be going to for a certain holiday. I think it could be Ramadan. I thought it was over, but
Ramadan's coming up.
Don't they fast then?
Ramadan's coming up.
So, so it's just, here he wants to round up the Jews, and he's saying, we're going to arrest you if you're on the street. And over there, he's sending them food packages. So, what's
mixed message?
Well, de Blasio is an idiot. I'm not that crazy about de Blasio, I'm a big fan of our governor, however, who's done just an absolutely incredible job,
He's awesome.
He really got me yesterday when he said, "Listen, I got to tell you, I got onto this thing later than I should have. I got onto it a week earlier. Might have saved a lot of lives." You don't hear Trump ever say something like that, or blame himself for something, or take the blame for anything.
Get on it earlier.
Huh?
It's because Trump did get on it earlier.
Oh yeah, sure he did. Sure
enough.
Sure he did.
But get on.
No, he
early.
was told by the Army in January that this was going to be a problem.
And when
he didn't do anything about it. And forget about that Chinese. I stopped the Chinese from coming over here. The fact is, they simply went the other direction and came here to New York through London, through Paris, through Italy.
De Blasio and Nancy Pelosi and all of those people were saying, "Hey, this virus, it's nothing," and they were coming off the same information Trump was getting. Now, once there was a death in Seattle.
To begin with, you're misquoting Pelosi. You love to misquote Pelosi.
You just don't want to hear it.
You sent me the video of her, and I heard what she said. All she was trying to do was to calm the Chinese down from thinking that their lives were going to be in peril from people who thought they were responsible for this disease.
Now,
I haven't ordered Chinese since this whole thing started.
Nobody knew what the extent of the disease was going to be.
Phil. The Army did, and the military did, and in their daily briefing, they told Trump, and he didn't do anything about it. Phil, he didn't do anything about it till March.
Brian's got his hand up.
Yes, Brian.
Thanks. I think it was on Monday's. I think it was on Monday's press conference. He actually, they got the question out to him about, yeah, but 40,000 people still came from China, and he says, well, yeah, those were American citizens. What are you going to do?
Right.
But every single press conference, he says that he stopped everything from China, but he did let people back in.
No, and the 40,000 weren't the 40,000 weren't all Americans trying to get in here. Because I know, because I have people who work with my wife who are from China who were coming over here during that period of time. No, he didn't do anything. He slowed the traffic down, but that was because he wanted to get at the Chinese. And then they simply said, well, then we'll go to London, we'll go to Paris, we'll go to Germany, we'll go to Italy, and we'll take off from there and go to the United States. And then they landed here in New York, and voila, why are we the most infected city in the world?
Because your governor didn't do anything quick enough, and neither did your mayor. And also your governor allowed people to go into the assisted living homes that had the COVID virus, and they housed them there, and they ended up infecting other people.
Where did you hear this?
It's common.
What do you mean it's common? Where did you hear this, Phil?
I hear it in the news.
Well, not the news I'm watching.
No, because you listen to the Communist News Network.
No, I watch Fox. I watch all of them. I even watch Newsmax, and I didn't hear that.
Well, then you're not listening for it. I watch it. And
I see. Now we know where you're getting your information.
I don't get it from Newsmax because I'm too cheap to pay for the subscription. But
there is no subscription.
Yeah, I thought you had to sign up for news.
No, I get it here on my cable.
Your funny way?
No, my unfunny way.
I don't get it on my because I have YouTube TV.
Oh well. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that our governor was only about a week late to the party. Okay, and he feels bad about that. Okay.
That's a leader.
Yeah.
A leader admits when he's wrong, and no blame.
And God forbid that Donald Trump should ever say he did anything wrong.
Trump tried to close the borders in 2016.
What borders?
Yeah.
Oh, they're speeding in Queens again.
The speeding in Queens again. Is that your... either that or...
No, that was me.
No, that was me.
Well, I was going to say, or somebody farted,
No.
But the question really is when, like, for instance, we're not getting off of this stay in place anytime soon here in New York City. That's for damn sure. Upstate, he may loosen things up a little bit because he says upstate is different. Upstate is more like the Midwest. These are two entirely different states. I mean, you're upstate. You're pretty rural.
Nice.
Whereas here in Manhattan, this is as cosmopolitan and as closely meshed as you can get. I think the reason Italy had such a problem is, have you ever seen Rome? Rome is worse than New York when it comes to social distancing. Yes, Phil.
The Bay Area counties just relaxed the construction protocol. So now we're allowed to do residential units up to 100 units and commercial jobs up to 20,000 square feet with no restrictions other than you have to have a COVID meeting. You have to have a leader that conducts the meeting, and you have to supply PPE.
And they said that if they see the numbers start going up, they're going to pull back on that?
No, there was nothing in that thing, and it came out.
Because I'm just waiting to see how many of these states that pull back suddenly realize they made a big mistake.
Well, I can only speak for the Bay Area counties that are now, and Marin is one of them, and Contra Costa. I'll be able to work.
I mean, you got to remember that San Francisco only dodged the bullet because they closed things down early and told people to stay indoors early. Now, if they relax that, what is going to happen?
Well,
Do you want to take? Do you
same
want?
thing that's happening on your, will happen on BART that's happening on your subways right now.
What's
The,
that have to do with it? I'm not.
Well,
We're not talking about that. We're talking about you relax the rules, okay? What is going to happen? Because it was tightening up those rules early that prevented a real outbreak in Northern California.
Why did they tighten those rules? I can answer that. They tightened them.
No, you
because
can't
they didn't want
because
the
you don't know
hospitals
shit.
Overwhelmed. They wanted the hospitals to be able to handle the number of patients that would be coming in. It wasn't to stop people from getting the virus. It was just so that the hospitals wouldn't be overwhelmed. Well, the hospitals aren't overwhelmed, so therefore, shelter-in-place worked, and it's time to open it.
Okay, but yeah, say that again, Charlie, because
hospitals weren't overwhelmed. So what the hell? Let's overwhelm them.
No, that's not necessarily what's going to happen. But
it happened in Texas.
Even New York.
Will you let Charlie finish?
Or the mayor said that
will you
once
let Charlie finish?
The beds reach 30%.
Phil, will you let Charlie finish? No, you didn't. He was still talking.
I just said we're going to get the hospitals overwhelmed in Texas because they're sending everybody back to work on Friday.
Yeah. So
well, we'll see. You know, but for instance, in New York, they said that once the beds reach a 30% use, that's when they're going to open up.
No,
New
when
York.
they're 30% empty.
Yeah, 30. Okay,
30%. They've got to maintain 30. He applied this to upstate because downstate they're not at 30%. But he said upstate, some of those hospitals will have 30% of their beds available. As long as they have that, they've got the cushion that if they. He described it as opening a spigot, okay, and then seeing what the water pressure is. And if they find that things are happening, they back off. They can afford to do that when they have a 30-bed buffer a 30% buffer in a hospital. But they downstate here, these hospitals are still pretty full, you know.
Why are they closing them?
They're not closing them.
Well,
they don't need. It turns out that because of our staying in place and our social distancing and our staying home, that we didn't need Javits quite like we needed it. Although we did use 1,200 beds there. You know, and to my knowledge, Javits is still open. But the question is, how long can we keep it open? Because well, it might be that if we open up other things, Javits might be needed for other stuff.
Javits is 2,900 beds?
No, I think it's 2,400, if I believe. Yeah.
All right.
He sent the ship back, you know, but the fact is that we don't have that 30% buffer in these hospitals here.
Is the Jesus Hospital across the street from Mount Sinai still open?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from them lately, you know.
The tents from your house?
I no, I can't. No, I used to see them when I went to the if I wanted to go to my doctor's office, my oncologist's office. But unfortunately, I'm not going over there anytime soon. I don't want to get near that hospital. What?
Yeah, and you were asking me the other day about the drone. It was the Chelsea area where Stoney was flying his drone and taking pictures.
No, he's not supposed to.
Yeah, well, he said the Chelsea area you can. There's some other areas you can't.
No, you can't in Chelsea. You can't over Manhattan, anywhere in Manhattan.
Wow.
You can't even do it in Central Park.
Yeah,
unless you're a TV crew and you go get a permit to do it. Okay? But without a permit, you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, he'll have the film, so he'll when he sends it to me, I'll send it to you. He said the streets were really empty.
Well, you told me the other day you said the streets weren't empty.
They weren't down where Washington Square and that area, but Chelsea area, he said was empty.
Yeah, yeah. And so is Times Square. If you want to go to the Times Square cam they've got online, it's like dead.
Yeah, he did some video there, but not drone video.
Well, here, let me talk to other people. So, Kevin, how are you holding up?
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got out to go to Costco and went home.
Yeah, you say your mother is okay?
Yeah, she passed her test and she's okay and she's happy and she's in lockdown.
Yeah, when you said she passed her test, for a moment my heart sunk.
Beyond to be great beyond.
You know,
Huh?
when you said she passed her test.
No. She passed her test. Yeah. She was negative.
Yeah.
You know,
It just that it took a week to get the damn thing. That's all.
Yeah.
But
What?
Brian,
You know, I have a mother, and she goes to dialysis 3 times a week. And when she shows up, they
That's
shoot
near
her
Fort
with a
Worth,
thermometer
isn't it?
in the forehead. So, like, if she gets tested and they find that she has any antibodies, are they going to quarantine her if they do something like that?
Mm-hmm.
They would.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah, but
God,
they're gonna
she's
find
gonna
it.
freak out.
Charlene, they're not going to find antibodies
No.
from taking her temperature.
No, I mean if they were to do a COVID test, because they test her for everything.
Well,
TB.
if she has
all that.
antibodies, that means that she had it and now she doesn't have it, and that she is perhaps immune.
So
Okay.
then they just leave her alone. That would be good, or
Yeah, but they're not going to find that she has antibodies. I doubt that unless she's come down with it.
right.
You know, although there's some people who are asymptomatic and they don't know they've had it, and yes, Phil.
Brian, with the testing that they're doing now, they're opening up testing all over the place. Are your machines starting to show up in the state testing areas?
I don't know how many additional test units we've been sending out, but I mean, it's just like anything else we talked about before. You have to have our system to be able to test, our product.
Yeah, well,
That's
because
what I kept asking is what machine were you using? What kind of test you getting? Because I know somebody that has a. I was trying to figure out but I think they were doing them in batches of 25 or 50, so it was probably one of the other bigger machines.
Yeah.
Probably one of the other ones. Yeah. So they showed on 60 Minutes where they said they just got those, and that was military government stuff. So we may be prioritizing some of those areas. I know I know when I was looking at the numbers for our cartridges, we had about 30% going to New York, 30% in California. Then they're sort of spread out, and they are definitely going by the hot spots.
Yeah.
And I know it was the nose swab, so that was good. I knew it was that test, which was the one I wanted her to take.
Yeah.
Well, my friend took one in Fremont, and they did it, and then they gave you the results like a day later.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering, maybe it's your test that they're using and not the one that gives you in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they should be giving it pretty quick. We have an HIV store in London where you have a doctor's note and you walk in and you take the sample, you go into a room, take the sample, put it in there, and you put it in this thing, and it shoots, like those banker things where it shoots up and goes into this laboratory in the back, and the person leaves. And then about 2 hours later, they'll get a text. People will get a text if you're HIV positive or not.
Wow.
So we've been trying to get into Walgreens and everything. So it's sort of good to hear them talk the other day, with the president saying that they're trying to get some of these tests in there. And that's what we're definitely trying to ramp up.
Isn't the big problem? Excuse me, Phil, for interrupting you.
Go ahead. You're allowed once in a while.
Yeah. Isn't the big clusterfuck around all of this that each of these different tests need a different machine? In other words, from each different company. Shouldn't somehow those companies be forced? I mean, it's kind of like a printer, and you got to buy their ink cartridges.
His is proprietary.
Phil, let me finish what I'm saying. Yeah. It's kind of like like printers, where you got to buy their ink cartridges because no other ink cartridges will work in it. Shouldn't there be some kind of standardization so that all these people are on the same playing field? No.
Then you'll get a glut.
Just buy our products. We're all privately owned companies at the beginning.
Yeah.
No matter if it's Abbott or Russia. And then when they grow and grow and grow, I mean, our stuff is so special to the system.
Mm-hmm.
When it goes in there, we have all the UV light. We're trying to multiply the DNA inside. Mm-hmm. After everything gets, the process goes through. So everything is self-contained in our process, where they may have to do some lab stuff outside of the process, and that's why they take so long. Our stuff is so quick because we do everything inside the cartridge.
Yeah.
Brian, that has,
Everything is very particular to the instrument. Is very particular to our cartridges.
Yeah.
if that has UV light, do you think I could swallow it and it would get rid of the virus?
Up the butt.
Oh, maybe
Yes.
he said that.
You have to
what's
put the Lysol in first.
What's the difference between the saliva and the one that goes up your nose? And then is there another kind too?
Yeah.
Because there's so many different
They
kinds.
said the one
Like,
that was tough.
What did you say?
why are there so many different kinds?
What did you say, Tony?
My sister's friend's a nurse. My sister said the one that goes up the nose, she told us, because they had to test them. They said it goes all the way back.
Yeah,
like,
to your
it's
brain, they say.
uncomfortable.
Like, yeah.
Up
Yeah.
It goes
nose,
back and it
up
turns
hose.
down your nostril down into the
Sinus, I guess.
sinuses.
Yeah, it really goes all the way to the back, Alex. It sounds uncomfortable.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yes.
My mom
it's
said.
what-
My mom said, "Oh, it's uncomfortable," and she's 89 years old, and she says, it's a little uncomfortable, and it's a bunch of wussies that wouldn't be able to go through it." And I go, "Oh, you talked about your president like that?" And she goes, "He's a big wussy."
Yes,
Brian,
Brian.
I hear it's very uncomfortable, but it's funny because when we were starting up as a company, we had other tests that we're doing for other diseases and stuff, and we have to sign off on all the documentation.
Mhm.
So we would actually have stuff for the customer, like the program inserts. So you'd open that up, and we have to approve this, where they have like a picture of the swab for stool samples. So they would say, like, here's one, and we had to have one picture that didn't have enough, and then you had one picture that had too much, and then you had one picture that had just enough shit or poop, whatever you want to call it, on there. As it's just very funny when you open up documents, you've been working hard all day, and then you have to approve the stuff.
Well,
It's really-
I suppose if we showed those pictures on this program, I wouldn't get monetized.
Right.
So
It's scientific.
it's
yeah.
Now, Brian, your machine, they're talking about using DNA to determine whether you're susceptible to heart attack. Are you coming up with those tests as well?
Yeah, we've been working on a lot of different stuff, breast cancer, and strangely enough, even So we've been working on a lot of different projects, and so I wouldn't doubt that we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know
anything that the genome can show? That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to get into. So
that's great. Did you notice how Jeff is coughs into his elbow?
Yes, I noticed.
Nobody's around, but he coughs in his elbow. He's very nice to us.
He's very good about it.
Who cares?
So Alex.
Yes,
don't do that,
yes.
I'm in
Oh, look at that. Look at what he's got.
Use
Pull,
it.
pull back a little bit. Pull back
This
just a
is-
little bit.
yeah, so I know it's hard to see, sort of.
Well, yeah, hold it right there. Right there is perfect. Yeah.
GAMH.
Alex Bennett, it says. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my shows, one of my Alex Bennett presents.
I was cleaning out my stuff while I've been home. Yeah, this was April 26, 1991. Alex Bennett presents at the Music Hall. This was the Recession special.
And we're in it again.
And then I have Frost Amphitheater, the South Bay Comedy Picnic, Dana Gould, Emo Phillips, Rob Schimmel, Kevin Meaney. So I've been going through all my old tickets, but you never have now because everything's
I think Ellen DeGeneres was on that show too. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. That's when I was a big concert promoter as well. And we did some that one had 9,000 people at it at the Frost Amphitheater. So, yeah,
those are fun.
that was a big one. Hey, listen, there goes the theme song.
It's over already.
Thank
Wow.
God. Yeah, it's over already. Enough. It's been the Phil Myers Show for the last couple of hours, and
Yes.
I can't
Thanks,
ask.
Phil.
I can't ask Brian a question. You have to ask him all the questions. I thought I was doing the interviewing here. Anyway,
Nice to have you on, Alex.
good to be here. Maybe I'll call tomorrow night too. By the way, tomorrow night I got Stephen Pearl on, but different than usual. I actually have Stephen Pearl on video. We did it by using Zoom because that was something he could use. So we'll have him on tomorrow night.
So you won't have to look down his throat.
No, you won't have to look at that animation going for. Hey, thank you, Brian. Thank you very much, Charlene. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Tony, and thank you to me. Hey, why don't you all give a big wave goodbye, and I'll wave goodbye back at you, and then everybody else will wave at their computer and say goodbye to you, and then they'll say goodbye to them, and that's it for tonight. Yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow, but next is Jack Bishop. He's here with the Intersection. You can call him and be part of the citizen panel. He would love to hear from you. And I will be back again tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.